My name is Oshun. On this channel, we uncover the creepiest, most unusual haunted TikToks the internet has to offer for entertainment purposes. Y'all are my soul tribe. Tribe is with a Y because the Y is for you. And that's because I love you so freaking much. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe to the Soul Tribe for your weekly dose of supernatural every Sunday and Thursdays. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling today, what's your favorite color, and it's almost Gemini season. Let's get ready. Let's get to this video.
My hometown has a haunted road. Get ready with me while I tell you about it. So I feel like a lot of towns have like Crybaby Bridge or they have like a haunted road. But in my hometown, we have a road called Peanut Road. This road is known to be deadly. I'm not talking about car accidents. I'm talking about cryptids. If you don't know what cryptids are, I'll give you a quick summary. Basically, a cryptid is an animal or species that is claimed to exist, but it's never been proven. So this would include things like the Loch Ness Monster, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, skinwalkers. On Peanut Road, there is supposedly sightings of skinwalkers and even Slender Man. And I can vouch for these stories because when I was in high school, I saw one with my own eyes. It's kind of become a local legend in my town. It's known to be home of some cult-like activities, and most people never make it down the whole thing. So people will walk down this road in the middle of the night to get scared. I've been down that road many times, but this is a time that I will never forget.
This story.
Are you fucking serious?
If you're a scary story lover like me, stop scrolling. Just wait until you hear
freaking
the story was sent to me by Gracie, who lives in a small town in Illinois. Back in 2020, she was living with her ex-boyfriend in Roadhouse. They lived in a 2-story older home. Not really sure the year it was built, but it was like a really old home. They'd already been dating for over a year at this point, so she decided she was gonna go ahead and move on in with him. One night she was in the downstairs bathroom washing up, getting ready for dinner, and all of a sudden she heard her 2 dogs start running from the kitchen to the living room. When she opened the door, her ex was sprinting upstairs, so she asked him, what happened? Was there a burglar, an intruder? What's going on? She said his face was just pale white. He said he was making dinner and he was alone in the room and it was super quiet. When suddenly he heard like a really dark, raspy old lady's voice scream, "Hey," directly in his ear.
Oh no.
But when he turned around, no one was there. That same night, Gracie was sitting downstairs with her ex-boyfriend, and all of a sudden he jumps up and starts freaking out again, saying that same old lady's voice was just in his ear. And this time he felt a hand go up his arm to his shoulder. Fast forward, Gracie's now living in Carlton, Illinois with the love of her life. His mother sadly passed away recently. They had moved her ashes into their room just to keep them safe. They had a 1-year-old and a dog, and they just didn't want them to get knocked over or anything. The day they moved her ashes into their room, freaky stuff started happening. That night, they were sitting in the front room watching a movie when they hear the TV start going off in Gracie's bedroom, which was weird because the Wi-Fi was being stupid and they couldn't get the TV to connect. Her boyfriend goes to check it out, and underneath of where the mother's ashes was sitting was the mother's favorite bottle of liquor. It was her favorite song that was playing on the TV.
Okay.
TV that wasn't connected to Wi-Fi, the one they couldn't get to work.
Okay.
They were obviously completely freaked out, but they didn't really pay any more attention to it until recently. I guess the other day, her boyfriend was sitting in their front room and they had like, this ledge in there that's 4 foot tall and like 12 foot wide. Gracie was laying down in her bedroom when she heard her boyfriend say from the front room, "I saw you, Grace." She was laying there thinking, what? Like, I'm laying in the bedroom. How do you see me from the front room? So she walks out and she's like, what? What are you talking about? Her boyfriend was like, come on, I just saw you duck down behind the ledge trying to scare me. Gracie said, absolutely not. I was in bed. Her boyfriend's face just dropped. They also hear footsteps sometimes, and sometimes they hear some weird noises. They've even heard each other talking when the other person wasn't talking, or even when the other person wasn't even home. Gracie wants to know what she might be dealing with.
A demon?
Do y'all think this is a mimic, or I don't know. Do y'all have any other ideas? If so, drop them in the comments.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to hear
Definitely a mimic.
And as always, if you have a scary story, send it to me on here or my email address, which is linked in my bio.
It's not that present
Love y'all.
at all. I don't agree to that.
Completely unbelievable, but it's entirely...
I have one. When I was 16, 17 years old, my bedroom was the attic of my parents' house. One night, I proceed to have one of the most real-feeling dreams I've ever had. In the dream, I'm sleeping in my bed. I wake up in the dream to an older woman standing in the corner of my bedroom. I do not know this woman, never seen this woman. She actually looked quite ghost-like, a little translucent. You could see through her a bit. Like, She looked like a ghost. She proceeds to ask me, I have a son. He needs someone to play with. Would you mind playing with him? Not sure why I chose to say yes, but I did. And I was like, yeah, I'll totally play with your son. That seems totally normal. Like, we're in a dream, so, like, fine, I'll play with your son. As soon as I say, yeah, I'll play with your son, he appears, like, if I'm laying in my bed, like, she's on this side, he appears on this side of the room, like, right where the stairs are, the top of the steps. And he starts to walk over to my bed, comes to my bed, and he's like, let's play arm wrestling. So I'm like, yeah, no problem, let's play arm wrestling. So I put my hand up like this. He puts his hand in my hand, and we are arm wrestling.
You're dreaming?
At first, it's like a good give and go. We're like, oh, yeah. And then, like, he pins my hand completely down. I feel his hand, hold on. I feel his hand around my hand, ice cold. He pins my hand down and is staring at me. And I'm like, okay, like, let's play again. And he goes, I don't think you want to play this game with me. Just like that, like, dead stare. I don't think you want to play this game with me. So I'm like, what does that mean? Let's play, like, okay, let's play the game. So he goes, no problem. Digs his nails into my hand like that and starts pinning my hand to the bed, yelling, I win, 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 I win. I rip my hand away from his. I feel the scratch marks on my, like, right here. And then he takes a step back with this, like, grin on his face. And he becomes this, like, black cloud of smoke. And I know that sounds unreal, but just stay with me. So he's this big cloud of smoke. This is all still in the dream. I get up. I'm screaming. I jump out of my bed. Here's where it gets crazy.
You didn't
I
wake
jump
up?
out of my bed in the dream, and I wake up in real
Okay.
life, and I am fully standing on my feet. So as I'm standing on my feet, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I'm out. I'm down the stairs, out the room, right? And so my mom and my sister are downstairs in the kitchen cooking breakfast. My mom is a very spiritual person, so I have no problem just being like, yo, this is what just happened. And it's like, disregard the dream if you want, but I was fully standing
When you woke up.
when I woke up. Insane.
Right.
And so typically, not saying typically like this happens all the time to me, but like my mom we regularly would have priests come over, bless the house, things like that. So like that's not weird. So like my mom throwing holy water around the house is not like an odd thing in my household. So like I'm expecting her
Florida
to be like,
water.
okay, let me go get the holy water. I'll spray your room down. Like, not a big deal. She goes, the holy water is right there. You're going to go get it and go upstairs and throw it around your room with some salt. I'm like, why are you not doing it? She's like, I think you should do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is insane. So I take the salt, I take the holy water, I go upstairs. My sister's like, I'll come with
Put
you.
the salt
but
all
I'm staying at the
corners,
bottom
honey.
stairs. Everybody's acting scared, and so I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. This is something.
Right.
So I have the holy water, I have the salt, I go upstairs. I have the holy water in like a little cup, and I have the salt. I go upstairs, and so I'm like throwing the holy water around, just a little flap around. And I have the salt, and I throw it onto my bed, and it sizzles. Bitch. I never ran down a flight of stairs faster in my life. I don't even think I touched one step.
Oh,
I jumped from the
my
top
goodness.
11 steps down, bow, hit it. I was downstairs the next flight, bow, hit it. I didn't stop for shit. I said, the only way I'm going back up there is if y'all bring a priest to hose this house down with a fire truck of holy water. I'm not playing at all with y'all. And so my mama got the priest to come, and he blessed the whole house, top to bottom. He didn't miss no floor, no nook, no cranny.
Okay.
And I never had an experience like that again. So
that was a good story.
I don't know where that little boy is at, but I hope his soul is at rest.
Yes.
Because he...
Oh.
Baby daddy's
girlfriend.
Unwrap him.
I watched that 5-part story, so you don't have to. We're gonna name bipolar cutie Monica.
Monica's telling us the story of how her boyfriend's girlfriend found out that Monica was pregnant with her baby daddy's baby and unalived the boyfriend. So we're gonna name the boyfriend baby daddy, and we're gonna name his girlfriend Renee. So Renee found out that baby daddy was having a baby with Monica, ROP, and Renee unalived the baby daddy. So rewinding a little bit, Monica is actually from Mississippi, but she moved away about 18 years ago, and she ended up in Houston, married for about 15 years. She had kids, lived with her husband for quite some time until things ended up being pretty bad and she left that marriage. When she left, she was left homeless with all of her kids and pretty much nothing. The ex-husband took it all. So she did what she knew was going to be best for her and her kids, and she went back home to Mississippi. When she got there, she was isolated. She spent time with nobody. She was truly, truly depressed. This is when she ran into a longtime friend that she hadn't seen in all these years that she's been gone, and they hit it off. This is baby daddy, and they started hanging out really, really tough, and honestly they had a very good vibe. And mind you, they also had a history, and when they would hang out, all they would do was garden together and relax, and she just felt such at ease, and it was just like a time for her to get away from the realities of her life. She was living with her auntie at the time. Monica tells us that she felt so much like joy and happiness hanging out with him, and he really just brought some type of excitement in her life that she really needed at that time. She really felt like he was her knight in shining armor. He starts spending so much money on her kids. So then weird things start to happen. She starts to get like weird text messages telling her like to stay away from this man, that that's her man, and like she needs to leave him alone and all of this. And she's like, I don't know who's text messaging me, but this is a very small town where we all know each other's business, and to my knowledge, like this man spends all his time with me, all his money, all his energy. How could he have time for other kids, baby mamas, any of that? To her knowledge, she's the only one he's messing with. She ignores the text messages. She tells him about it, and he's like, nah babe, like those aren't for me, like I don't know who's texting you. And then he kind of makes a joke and he's like, maybe you're cheating on me, Monica, maybe that's what's happening. And she's like, no, but like I am receiving these messages. Shortly after that, someone starts creeping by her auntie's house in a car all the time, and she's like, what the hell's going on? Again, she's not really thinking much of it, and the reason why she's not thinking much of it is because in hindsight, she actually ends up finding out that baby daddy was lacing her gardening tools with booger sugar or some type of like powder. She doesn't specify what kind of powder he was adding to her gardening tools, but he was adding something, and she found out because one of Monica's ex-best friends and her ex-husband end up teaming up and trying to take custody away from her by telling CPS a bunch of lies, and they ended up having to do a rug test on her. And on the rug test, she popped not only for gardening, but she also popped for booger sugar or some type of white powder. And she's telling the CPS people like, no
That's
way,
horrible.
I have nothing to do with that. I've never done any type of like hard rugs before. So the CPS is like, well, you know, the amount of the hard stuff that's in your system is very little compared to the gardening stuff, which tested really high. And so basically the CPS was like, it sounds like wherever you're getting it from, I don't know if you're getting it from a person or from like an actual
What made
shop,
them test the
they're
gardening
adding something
stuff?
to your gardening things. And that's when she realized the only person I garden with is baby daddy. You're telling me that baby daddy's been like lacing me? So when she's getting these like threatening messages and she has people like following her, she's like not really in her right state of mind. She says like she's already going through depression, she's fighting it, he's kind of helping her, but at the end of the day, like the rugs were, in her opinion, really messing her perception, making her feel like she was having a really good time with him and all these things, and then also kind of bypassing all of these red flags that were popping up. One thing leads to another, and she actually ends up pregnant with his baby. So she text messages him and she tells him like, hey, I'm pregnant, and he's so excited. He comes, he gets her, he picks her up, and this is the first time, at this point they've been dating like 3 or 4 months, this is the first time she actually gets to go to his house. So she goes to his house and they're doing their little 1-2, you know, doing what grown folks do, and all of a sudden Monica like hears some noise and she's like, what the hell, like go check it out. And he's telling her like, no, it's fine, no one's here, like we have the whole house to ourselves. And at this point Monica's like truly disturbed. Monica's like, no, I need you to get up and I need you to go check on that noise. He calms her mind though. At this point she's on top of him and he's laying down, so they get back to it. He's like trying to relax her, tell her like everything's fine, so he flips her over. Now he's on top and she's laying down, so now he's got her mind off of things. He's relaxed her again and she's closing her eyes. The next thing that she hears, a pew pew sound go off, and she looks at baby daddy and his eyes are just like big and he's staring at her with a blank stare. And then right after that he just keels over and falls on top of her, and she is like stunned. She hears footsteps. She doesn't see anybody. She only hears footsteps running away now, and she manages to push him off of her. She's scared, absolutely still. She's just like completely not even really processing what's happening. She gets up, she locks the door, and she lets out a wild scream. She looks for her phone. She finally finds her phone. She calls her mom and she's like, so-and-so got hurt. Her mom is like, where are you? Have you called the cops? Da-da-da-da. Monica tells her mom where she's at, the address. Her mom is able to call the cops. Her mom's on the phone like, get out of that house. But Monica is so scared. She's like, I don't know if the person's still in the house. I only heard them run away. I don't know if they actually left. So she just goes into the bathroom. Her mom ends up calling the cops. The cops show up. Her mom, her aunties, her uncles, they all show up, and the cops are like, entering the house, and they're like, do, announcing themselves. And Monica is so scared. She can't even like call back out to the cops. She doesn't say anything until she hears her own mother's voice. When she hears her mother's voice, she finally calls out and tells them where she's at. They come and grab her. They take her to the ambulance because they're like, are you hurt? But in reality, she's not hurt at all. She knows that her partner got hit in the back of the neck because she saw all of the stuff coming down his shoulders and chest. And she's like, I'm fine. Of course, the police start to try to take her statement, and she's like, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anyone. All I heard was the pew pew go off and then footsteps running off. I have no idea what happened. Obviously, his family shortly after that shows up. Right when the family shows up, the coroner actually announces that baby daddy is deceased, and the family loses it. Now they really want answers, and they're asking her questions. They're like, who else was in the house with you guys? What happened? Da-da-da. And she's like overwhelmed. She's telling them like, I have no idea. You guys are asking me all these questions and I don't know what happened. Like, you have to understand, we were in the act of like doing it, and he's in front of me. I can't see anything behind me. He just fell on top of me and the person ran off. Like, I don't know anything. Her family's like looking at her like, what? To the point that even the police were looking at her like, girl, did you do this? Like, we need to investigate more, right? So her mom steps in and she's like, look, my daughter needs to calm down. She needs to get her thoughts together. Like, let's continue this conversation.
She should have been covered
Finally,
in blood
the cops
too, though.
release Monica to be able to go back home. So she goes home with her mom. Her whole family stays with her. They're
How
like,
did the
we're not
bullet
letting you out
not
of
go
our sight.
through
And she really
him
can't sleep
into
that well
her?
that night. And she starts getting threatening messages because people really believe that she had something to do with baby daddy being unalive. The next morning, the police contact her and they're like, hey, can you come back to the station? We have some more questions for you. Once she gets to the station, come to find out, the same night that all of this went down, another incident connected to this ended up happening as well. The cops are telling Monica all this information and she's just like, what? Like, I just found out I'm pregnant with this man's child and now you're telling me all of this. She's so confused at this point. She's not understanding like how all of this came to be. Come to find out, when she goes home after being questioned at the police station, Monica's mother gets a phone call from Renee's family basically telling her baby daddy's girlfriend, who Monica had no idea about, actually unalived herself, Renee. She left a suicide note, and in that note she details how she's the one that unalived baby daddy and how she doesn't regret it and how she knew that he was messing around on her again and she can't have him, nobody can have him, basically. Shortly after all of this went down, Monica ends up receiving a letter directly from Renee that she sent before she unalived herself. In this letter, Renee outlines how her and baby daddy were in a relationship for over 20 years.
What?
He had numerous children on her, how all these kids and all these relationships that he had while being with her made her feel just not valued, not worth it to him, not a priority, all of these things. When Renee saw the text message between baby daddy and Monica and how excited he was to have Monica's baby, she was just like, absolutely not. I can't have him be happy. I can't have you be happy. And she even told her, that night I came to do you in and I ended up hitting him instead. And that is what made Monica break down so bad, because she was just like, wow, me just doing my own thing and being with this man led to two people being unalived, you know? And people were asking her like, why is her username bipolar cutie? After all of this happened, or during this all happening, because also the whole CPS thing was also happening in the background, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And so she's like, that's why that's my screen name. And all the traumatic things that I've been through in my life has shaped how my brain operates. Could you imagine your partner being unalived and falling on top of you while you guys are actively doing it? And mind you, she knew something was like coming. She said she heard the door kind of slowly opening and he refused to get up and investigate and figure out if it was just the old house making creaking sounds or if somebody was actually in the house. Also in that note that was sent to Monica from Renee, she also tells her, I was the one that was sending you those messages telling you to leave him alone. I was the one that was creeping by your auntie's house. Monica was just like, damn, I wish I got a chance to actually talk to Renee. Had she told me what the situation was, I would have left this man alone, essentially. She didn't know. And Monica also goes on to tell us that baby daddy was actually very manipulative. He actually used this whole rug situation with with all of his baby mamas. He used to lace all of their stuff. And so it was one of his tactics to control them. She's actually so sad because she's like, he left me with so many more questions. There's so many things I want to answer. Fast forward to the funeral, the baby daddy's family literally banned Monica from showing up. They were like, no, you can't come. Even though the suicide note has come out and everybody knows that Monica had nothing to do, you know, directly with
I'm sorry, I cannot keep my mouth closed.
They didn't want her there at all. And then this is when she found out, as she was being banned from the funeral, that he had all of these other baby mamas. And a lot of them ended up reaching out to her, and they had camaraderie. They want, you know, the siblings to get to know each other and their kids to play. And so she was like, it's crazy that his family wants absolutely nothing to do with me. They want absolutely nothing to do with my child. But she said, yeah, anything that I've gotten my child, I've paid for bit by bit. I put together, you know, a place for him to be able to call home. She said, of course, I wasn't going to give up my child. She said, obviously, when I found out 3 to 4 months into knowing this man that I was pregnant, of course I was distraught. I was shocked, but at the end of the day,
you got pregnant 3-4 months in?
Her for a reason, and because of that reason, she's gonna keep it. Either way, though, I think this is such a traumatic thing to go through. I'm so sorry that you had to endure this. I hope you continue to search for that healing and for that peace, and I really do wish it for you. You guys tagged me in this a bunch. I wanted to make sure that I got it out to you guys. I appreciate you guys as always. I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.
That was insane. That was insane. That was sad. That was crazy. Baby, these niggas, because that wasn't a man. That was a nigga. A whole ass nigga who ain't give 2 shits about nothing, no one, not even himself or any of them babies that he produced. That's really sad. My opinion, he deserved what he got. I'm sorry to say it, but I said it, because how do you go around manipulating people like that, controlling people's lives, drugging people on purpose, and they're pregnant with your babies, getting women pregnant within 3-4 months of knowing them, having a whole wife at home of over 20 years, and you done this to her over and over and over and over and over and over again, and she just kept taking you back and just dealing with it, like. And then she unalived herself. That is so sad. That is very sad. Like, but what if he didn't flip her? Woo! Because she said she was on top first, and he flipped her. So if he didn't flip her, she would be gone. She would not even be, we wouldn't even know this story, okay? That's crazy. That is crazy. And I wonder, like, even if she would have got her, would she still have tried to kill him and then do herself in? Whew. And she knew she was pregnant, so she was trying to delete her and the baby. That was a hell of a story. Oh my gosh. And who was Shorty? Fit streamer? That I never seen her. I told you I don't do TikTok. I'm not a scroller. I feel scrolling is deadly. I do what I gotta collect and make my videos, and that's that on that. My wall on Instagram, Facebook, is always motivational stuff to make money, things of that nature. So next story.
I was one of those people who collected ghost stories like trophies, always eager to poke around old abandoned places. I, on the other hand, hated that stuff, but
I'm so copying her for my lives.
Her excitement was always too contagious. Plus, she was my best friend, so wherever Mia went, I wasn't too far behind. We'd been glued to the hip ever since we met. Mia's latest infatuation was this old abandoned house she found a couple of nights ago while driving through the countryside part of town. Her eyes probably shot wide with amazement as she drove past and spotted it hidden behind large tangled vines and trees. Ever since then, she's been talking about it nonstop, begging and bribing me to go explore with her. Come on, you know I can't go without you. You're my partner in crime, Mia urged while texting me the address. Let's go check it out tomorrow, around midnight, for the full effect. Against my better judgment, I agreed. The house was way creepier than what she initially described it as. I should have figured she always sugarcoats these so-called explorations. The house itself was massive, a worn-out relic from another century, looming dark and silent at the end of the road. There was something wrong with it, though, that I couldn't quite put my finger on. I don't know, maybe it was the way the trees arched around it, almost like they were reaching out to grab it. I was hesitant, but we were already here, might as well. We got to the front porch and Mia rattled the doorknob, unlocked it, she pushed it open, and we stepped inside. The air was thick, musty, but beneath the smell of mildew was something else, something faintly sweet. We turned on our flashlights, beams sweeping over peeling wallpaper and dusty furniture draped in yellowed sheets. "Come on," Mia whispered. "Let's explore." The floorboards groaned under our feet as we moved deeper into the house. Our footsteps echoed in the vast emptiness, making it feel like we weren't alone. Every so often I'd catch movement in the corner of my eye, just a flicker, and my heart would race, only to find Mia had simply passed in front of a shadow. The uneasiness grew, though, and it grew. In one of the rooms upstairs, we found a nursery frozen in time. The walls were painted a faded blue, with chipped animal designs barely clinging on, and a single crib stood in the corner, blanketed in dust, but there was something in it. Mia, always braver, walked straight up to it. "Ugh, it's a doll," she said, lifting it out of the crib. Its face was cracked, but what made goosebumps run up and down my arm was the fact that it had no eyes. It was dressed in this white nightgown that hung loosely from its tiny, brittle frame. She turned it over and we both froze. Someone had carved the name Mia into the back of the doll's head, jagged letters scratched deep into the porcelain. A chill ran down my spine. I could have sworn I heard a faint giggle, a child's laugh coming from the hall. I looked at Mia in pure horror, but as always, she was nonchalant. She could tell that I was really freaked out, though. "Oh my gosh, how many bitches at our school has the name Mia? It's a common name, it's okay," she said while laughing and throwing the doll back in the crib, insisting we keep exploring. So, reluctantly, we left the nursery and wandered down a narrow hall. At the end of it, there was a locked door. "Think there's a key around here?" Mia asked, her eyes shining with curiosity. "I don't think we should go in there," I replied, suddenly gripped by an intense feeling that something waited for us on the other side of that door, something that wanted us to come inside. But Mia, stubborn as ever, didn't listen, and as if she knew exactly where to look, she reached for the top of the door, and on her tippy toes she ran her fingers along the frame, and suddenly stopped. "Gotcha," she whispered as she found a small rusted key. It fit perfectly. The door creaked open, revealing a dim, small room with walls lined in shelves. Each shelf held dozens of dolls, all in various states of decay, except these ones had eyes unlike the one in the nursery. But what disturbed me the most was that their eyes looked a little too real. At times it looked like they were following us as we moved throughout the room. I couldn't stand looking at them. Mia went straight up to take a closer look. I decided to examine other elements of the room. And then, as my flashlight swept over the walls, I saw something sticking out from behind the door. I slowly closed the door, and that's when I saw it. A series of photographs pinned to the back of the door. Black and white Polaroids with names written at the bottom, each capturing a girl holding one of the dolls, and their faces solemn and empty, but their eyes, all of the girls were missing their eyes. "Mia, look," I whispered as I backed up slowly, breath heavy, while I examined each and every photograph and name. Lizzie, Mary, Abby, Jessie, Becca, Beatrice, Sophie, Lauren, Maddie, Lily, Riley.
She is so good.
My back hit the opposite end of the small room. My heart skipped a beat when I saw the last photograph.
Mia.
It was Mia. The air turned suffocating, my head spinning, my words stuck in my throat. Mia, I think we should leave. But when I turned to find Mia, she was gone, and all that stood in her place were the now empty shelves that once held the dolls. My heart hammering, my head spinning, I ran out of the room extremely dizzy, clinging to the walls for support as I began shouting her name. As I stumbled back throughout the house, looking in each and every room I went by, as I was about to run past the last room, the nursery, something made me freeze. As I stood there alone in the middle of the hallway, a few steps before the nursery, I heard whispers coming from the room. "Mia, is that you?" only soft giggles answering my question. I slowly pick up my feet, heart beating louder and louder with each step. My flashlight shakes in my hand as I inch towards the door. I stand next to the door with my back against the wall, building up the courage to look in the room. The giggles and whispers become louder and faster. With my eyes fixed on the ground, I turn my head to peer in the room, my eyes still on the ground, my body refusing to look up, but the desire to know is infecting me. My breath heavy, my heart pounding. I begin to slowly lift my eyes from the ground, revealing the scenery ever so slowly. As my gaze rises, I pause. I first see a bunch of bare feet standing around, filling the room, all wearing white nightgowns, just like the dolls. My heart feels like it's about to explode. Just one more look up and I'd be face to face with whomever or whatever was in the room. Clenching my jaw, I raise my gaze one final time, the whispers immediately coming to an abrupt halt, and I let out a soft gasp. Standing in the middle of the room is a group of girls, the same girls from the photograph.
Oh, wow.
In silence, they stare directly at me with their empty sockets. In the middle of the group, sitting down on a chair, was Mia, holding a doll. My hand shoots up to cover my mouth from letting out a scream of terror as I see that Mia's eyes have been taken out of her socket, and one of the girls standing next to her, holding them, dangling them by the veins still attached to the ends. And all of a sudden, all of their mouths dropped wide open with a crack. It was as if they were going to let out a tremendous loud scream, but no sound came out. Mia slowly lifted her hand and pointed at me. I knew what was going to happen next. They were gonna take my eyes. I dropped my flashlight and bolted for the door, leaping down the stairs, skipping 5 or 6 steps. As I approached the wide open front door, it slams shut right before I can go through it. I turn around and I see all of the missing-eyed girls standing at the top of the stairs, slowly making their way down towards me. Panicking, I picked up the closest thing next to me. I don't know what it was, either a lamp or a vase. It doesn't matter. I smashed it against the window, shattering the glass. I climbed through, my arm snagging on the sharp glass, ripping my skin open. Blood dripped from my arm as I frantically got in my car and dialed the police as I drove. I went straight to the hospital and I got 17 stitches on my forearm. And after about an hour or two, the police met me there. They said that they searched the whole house, every room, every hidden corner, but they found no trace of Mia, no doll, not even a single photograph. Just the broken window I came out of. I kept trying to explain to them, but they didn't believe me. The next day I went to her house to see if she might have gone home. I knocked on her door and her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Webbs, answered. I immediately asked frantically about Mia and if she had came home last night and if they heard from her, but they just stared at me with a look of confusion.
Like, who's Mia?
Who's Mia? Mrs. Webb asked, the words swirling around in my head as disbelief and horror strike across my face. What the hell do you mean, who's Mia? Mia,
right?
Your daughter, Mia, my best friend, Mia. I said while freaking out, but all they did was
she then went to a whole different universe, dimension.
And then Mrs. Webb takes my hand and with a soft voice says,
Mia died years ago.
Are you feeling okay? Did you forget to take your medication today? I immediately snatched my hand from her grip, my eyes wide with horror. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. Why don't I call your mother? Mrs. Webb asked, but I ignore her as I rush back to my car. As I get back in my car, I take out my phone and I try to call Mia, but her contact is gone. I then looked through my camera roll and I looked through every single picture I had with Mia, and it was empty. It was now just me by myself. Am I losing it? Am I losing my mind? She's gone. It's like she's never existed. She's just erased. I can't find Mia.
I love her stuff.
Good night.
She has a new fan, honey. Yes, that was really good. I had her story in one of our other videos that just posted past week or so. That was my first time being introduced to Miss Isabella Barbosa, okay? And yeah, I'm finna copy, okay? Just a little bit, just a little bit. I'm gonna have a little something like that for my live setup, okay? Once I get, you know, settled into my new place. We got new things coming to the channel. Make sure y'all get y'all some merch. Get you some hoodies, some tank tops, some cups, apron when you're cooking, some water jugs, anything with the logos, okay? There's about 5 different logos. You have to search through the website. When it comes up, it may look like there's only 1 or 2 different logos. No, there are several different logos to choose from, to put on whichever kind of merchandise that you choose, okay? We also have the journal, the self-love journal. It's a guide to help you for self-love and empowerment. There's solo date ideas. There's journaling prompts. There's affirmations. There's different challenges. There's a planner. I created it myself, so thank you. You're welcome. It is on sale for now for $11.11. The price will be going up to the regular price, which will be $22.22. So get it while you can, while it is on a discount. What else? I have another ebook coming out. It's going to be just based on affirmations and journal prompts in there as well. So look out for that. And yeah, we just growing, glowing, and showing, honey. We gonna get this money always possible. Thank you for the support. If you can't afford that, you can just send me $1. Or you can just share, like, comment, share, subscribe. It's free. And it helps the channel be seen by more people, helps the channel grow. So I do appreciate that. We almost a year in next month. It is now May, so yeah, next month, it will be 1 year that I have been doing these reactions, so I'm so excited. But yeah, guys, that's it, that's all, and I appreciate you, I love you, I do not take your time for granted. Please like, comment, and subscribe for your weekly dose every Sunday and Thursdays. And we outie 5,000, Ashe. Over my third eyes, on my way. I'ma open my one eye, be in dementia. You on my body, but I'm not a Christian. I'm not a religion.